Mark's telling of the Passion of Jesus occupies about 1/3 of the entire Gospel. So obviously we cannot ignore its importance in the life of Jesus, in the life of discipleship. So we can ask ourselves the question, why did Mark give so much space to those events in Jesus' life that lasted just a few days? Could it be that Mark was trying to encourage the people of his community that suffering and sacrifice go hand in hand with the mission of Jesus, with the life of a disciple? You know, in Mark's gospel, all of the disciples abandon Jesus. The only people near the cross are those who mock him. And Mark mentions specifically the women disciples. They were there, but they too looked on from afar. You know, it's tough to embrace the cross in our lives willingly. You know, we think the Paschal mystery, the death and the resurrection of Jesus, is good for Jesus. But so often, we do not want to embrace it ourselves. Too often, we do not want the message of Jesus because it'll interrupt our comfortable pattern of living, calling us out of ourselves. It'll interrupt the plans we make for ourselves. But we remember so clearly the words of Jesus, if anyone wants to be my disciple, let him or her deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow in my footsteps. Every year, and this year will be no different, we as a parish will celebrate the Paschal Triduum, beginning with the Mass of the Lord's Supper on Holy Thursday, followed by the celebration of the Lord's Passion on Good Friday, and then climaxing with the Great Easter Vigil on Saturday evening. Lord knows if we choose to participate, our lives are going to be disrupted. This certainly happens in our own lives with our participation in the liturgy of the church each week, but it also will happen in the everyday events of our lives. You know, one of Mark's primary messages of the Passion of Jesus is that Jesus' passion story is the story of every disciple. It's our story. We can't be pious observers recalling an event of ancient history. We are called to be participants today in the Paschal mystery of Jesus. That's what gives our lives purpose and meaning and directions. And sometimes that means accepting suffering and hardships as a part of life, knowing that our suffering or our cross is endured for a greater purpose, a greater plan, and that would be God's plan. So the sacrifices you make for your spouse, for your children, for your parents, are all about something bigger than just you. You know, it's about God's reign, God's kingdom. We're driven by something much bigger as disciples of the Lord than our own needs. As disciples of the Lord, we are united with him, and together we live for God's reign. We live for God's kingdom. God is with us. And Jesus' mission must be present in each one of us through the ways that we live and move within our world. Ultimately, our passion, our mission should be one with Jesus.